And how many of you are saying, you know what, I'm struggling with debts? Okay? So that's normal in South Africa. That the majority of people are behind you in terms of their bills. Like more than 20 million people are on the red. It's above 27 million people who actually use credit, like using the registered providers as such. But more than 20 million are behind on their bills, let alone their plans and dreams. But in terms of their bills, they are struggling to pay. Obviously, the inflation, interest rate, and all those sort of things had an effect. But ignorance is another factor that is affecting our people. You know, the economy always thrives on ignorance of the majority, so that the minority may thrive also based on the ignorance of the majority. So that is why sometimes no one bothers to empower, because once you are enlightened, you will do things that will benefit you, but not benefiting towards the system. So if you are struggling with debts, because getting out of debts must be your goal, so that you can be in a position where you balance between the good debt against the bad one. Okay? And then use debt towards maybe accumulating assets that can be in a position to pay for themselves. You know, this thing of being or of having a poor credit score simply because you didn't afford to pay for those boxer shorts or leggings, then your score dropped, is not a good one. At least it must be for a serious business. Just imagine you are trying to apply for a bond, and then they find out that you were owing socks. You didn't pay for what? Socks. And affected your credit score. Just imagine. So that is why we need to be on a journey to make sure our credit score is fixed. Even if you are not going to be relying on credit. But there are so many people, there are few people who can afford to buy property cash or building property from their own capital. So instead you can use leverage, other people's money, that is the bank's money. And that is why we are going to teach you how to pay your bond in different ways that can give you an advantage. We will touch on that. So you need to assess your debts, meaning that list all the debts you have. You know, sometimes you don't even open those emails or letters, because you know very well that once you open an email from the creditor, it has this thing that say it reports that you've received and read. So you just keep. But sometimes you have to face it and say, you know what? I just want to know how much amount I'm owing, how much interest is charged, and the term. Have that done, because now we are confronting what? The situation. You get me? I remember when I was overly indebted, listed by 7 credit card. Those days they were not sending emails, they would send a letter of demand. Once the letter is read, the envelope is read, it's written confidential. You must know that, you know what? This is a legal letter, man. So this matter is no longer about call center people calling me. Hey, you remember those days when the letters, you know, even inside, it's written on a red paper. And when you're reading it, you know, the heart will beat very fast, because red means danger. So number 1, assess your debts. Number 2, prioritize your debts. So now be on a situation where, you know what, I will use whatever method, but to make sure I'm paying something, no matter how big. But every day, the more I pay, at least positively, my credit score will move. Okay? If it means you start with a smaller debt, it will give you confidence because that smaller one, you can finish it quick. Then now you have confidence, and then that smaller money you are putting towards another smaller one until you are in a position to take the big one. Alternatively, you can start with the one with a bigger interest. You understand what I mean? Yeah. And even in your own, you can negotiate with creditors before you involve professionals. Like, you are being honest, say, you know what, let's talk. Hey, I can't afford. Then they will ask how much you can afford. And be honest on that regard. If you see that, you know what, this car installment because of interest rate is now suffocating my finances, all you can do is to write a proposal or an email so that they can review your installments at the very same time as they can agree, but they will prolong the term. So instead of maybe paying 60 months for your car, you end up paying for 72 months. At least you'll be within your affordability. Okay? So that is why you need to negotiate with your creditors. On the other hand, be offensive in terms of creating more income. Okay, look for it. Look, start from your home. Look at the things you are no longer using. Do you have that parent who doesn't want to get rid of that 1976 furniture? It's still there. Say, you know what? This was bought by your father. Now, the house is full of clutter. You know, now you have rents. Those are the things that you can start to sell. Do some garage sales and then pay some debts. Even you know very well that, you've got a lot of stuff. You have a wardrobe with clothes that no longer fit you for many years that you can get rid of. Go to those Sunday markets, man. Sell there. And then make some money, pay for something. Or look for other ways you can increase your income. That is another offensive thing you can do when you are faced with it. Don't be stressed. Don't sleep the whole day trying to soothe your emotions. Face it. At the very same time, reduce expenses. Cut unnecessary spending. You know, people who say, you know what, I'm stressed. I just need shopping therapy. You know what, I need to shop till I drop. At least emotionally, I'll be balanced. You know those kinds of people? When they are stressed, they feel like buying a large chunk of chocolate. You know that, gent? So it's very important. Reduce what? Your expenses. There are people who, when they are actually stressed, I'm talking about depression. So now we just put mathematics there and call it depression. You know, you feel like drinking when you are stressed. So, hey, no, I need just one. That is still spending. But in this case, we need to reduce and avoid new debts. You cannot be borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. Avoid accumulating new debts. Some will say, so let me try debt consolidation. Sometimes it won't work if the interest will end up paying is higher than the ones you were paying. Because you have to calculate the cost. You get my point? It can only work for you if it's going to be of a very, very low interest. But most of the time, debt consolidation is more like financial suicide. And then you can also utilize debt relief programs. That can be debt mediation, where there is a professional who actually negotiates with your creditors. But it doesn't involve the court. It is just creditors' right to consider how much they can reduce installment for you. and they can change any given moment. Or you can apply for debt restructuring. Let me tell you about debt cancelling process. It's for people who are overly indebted, but at the very same time they are trying to protect their assets. You know, when you are behind in everything and you've received Section 129 letter. Once you receive Section 129 letter, it gives you 10 business days to sit down with a registered debt counselor who can then assess your situation and assist you so that you can also be protected by courts. So if you think you are really behind and you are struggling with debt, I'm your registered and professional debt counselor. I can advise you accordingly. Are we together on that one? Yes. So, because we've got a support system, a debt relief support system, where we guide and educate people via Zoom once a month. Because sometimes you need a community of people who are going through the same thing you are going through. And the winners, some people who've been there, who can also guide you and tell you, you know what, this is what has helped me. And on this program, we call it IMPI 1000. We had 1,000 people under our debt restructuring mentorship that we were guiding. And some of those people, I discovered that they were actually being stressful about prescribed debts, expired debts that they don't even need to pay anymore. Some they don't even need. No, what is a prescribed? What is a prescription aid? Let's say you are owing Sales House or Starterford. You were owing them 1,000 rand a long time ago when you were getting married. And now, they are not even there. And no one contacted you for more than 3 years. If someone who bought that debt book starts to contact you now, you have a whole right to tell them that all the debt is expired. And you can engage credit bureaus to remove it. Because there was non-communication. Or maybe you were successful in terms of hide and seek for 3 years. Then also monitor your credit report so that you can be motivated to see your credit score improving. You get it? Yeah, that is another part I will emphasize. And make extra payments wherever possible. If you are owning a credit card, you know, between the billing date and the due date, if you are able to pay the amount that was due, there will be no interest added. So you must learn the ways of also managing your credit card that may end up benefiting you. Educate yourself about personal finance management. So you must become a loyal student of money. You need to know even the color of money. You understand the color of money? Let me see if I've got something here. Like this 50 rand note. If I can ask you again, or let me start with you, brother man. What animal is here on this 50 rand? What? A lion or a DJ? You need to know the color of money. And understand that money must be your friend. Because in honest truth, the majority of our problems need money. Yes, prayer has its own place. But after prayer, we need what? Money. So that is why when we are talking about financial problems, you don't say to people, oh, I will pray for you. That is all good. That is all good. But give them money, man, to sort what? Or refer them to me. Yeah, the doctor. And then avoid temptations. So it means you avoid even the situations or the habit that might lead you to spend money. If your problem is gambling, there are certain places and streets you will need to avoid. That purple street, you understand? I'm glad today. If you means to avoid that black street, that that building, avoid it. If it means to avoid that store that ends with tops, you rather change and go somewhere where there's no tops. You are avoiding the situations that may tempt you. And now, the artificial intelligence and the technology is on another level. Sometimes you think about the pizza, the next thing you stroll on the social media, the triple decker is there. You were just thinking about, it's a law of attraction. You attract what you think about the most. That is why when you dwell too much on your problems, more problems get invited. That is why you must try to focus on solutions. So please do avoid what? Sometimes you even, by avoiding financial temptations, you avoid even your broke friends, man. If you hang around 5 broke people, you'll soon be number 6. I'm telling you, it's the law of association. They will teach you the ways of being relevant. Because their relevance is being broke. Look at your 5 friends. Look at your 5 friends. Look at them. I know you came with them here. Look at those. Because even your language sometimes you say, hey, broke you bet, So now you find comfort from that conversation. Knowing that, you know what, my friend is in deep pity than me, okay, I can feel good for a short moment. You understand? By feeling better because your neighbor has bigger problem than yours, but you are not also focusing on what? Solutions. All right. Use cash instead of credit. Avoid paying for more purchases using credit if you are already struggling. Are you good? Are you following me very well? Yes. So we are teaching each other here just to sit down and have truth with ourselves and see what decisions we can take around the matter. And don't forget to track your progress and cut out on luxuries. Don't maintain the same standard when you are suffering. Sometimes we have to downgrade temporarily. Yeah. And see, you know what? The apartment I'm renting is too much for me. Let me look for the most affordable one in the safe place as well. That won't kill you in the long run. You'll be thanking yourself. We've spoken about reviewing the memberships that you pay for every month or subscription to see if ever it can make a certain difference. Stay disciplined, remain focused towards your goal. Once you finish one credit commitments, behave about it. It's not about finishing and then saying I'm using no credit anymore. No, it's to learn and use it right for your own benefit. Not recklessly. So that is why you must also maintain what? Positive attitude while you are there. What can help you to maintain that positive attitude? Learn about money. You know, last week, the GDP was announced. If I can ask you, what are the numbers for the current GDP? Some of you won't tell me. Inflation rate was announced. Next week, on the 18th, they are announcing the interest rate. You need to be in tune with all those activities. Now, when we ask Guti, who died? Is it going to help your pocket? So that is why you must become a lawyer student of what? Money. And move away from that notion that says money is the root of. Even the Bible doesn't say so. The Bible says money answers all things. Okay. It even says, if you have money, you have security. Money is power, money is security. Wisdom is power, wisdom is security. So all you need in this life to have a balanced lifestyle, wisdom and wealth, you find, you sort it. Life must be balanced. And then seek legal advice. If it means to sit with a debt counselor like me, because the best one is the one standing in front of you as we speak. We need to, I've been there myself. You understand? So if there are debt relief programs, let's work on it. But we need discipline so that we will. If it means to join any financial support group that always educate, just like Debt 1000, where we always encourage each other, teaching each other, making sure that every day there's someone whom you can report to and say, you know what, I've done this successfully, I'm happy about it, and then you move to the next challenge because we have to face it. You get it? So that is the reason why we created this support group. It's called Debt 1000 to assist those that are really drowning in debts, those that are no longer affording monthly repayments. So if you need that particular help, some people who may speak different language that can elevate your finances from being overly indebted to financial freedom, you need such platforms that will guide you with information, support, and knowledge. You get my point? You know what? Some people may come to my office, or we can even sit online. You know, they narrate the story and then cry in the process. I don't even feel bad. I just wait for you to stop crying and continue. Crying is good. It's good. At least after crying, your emotions will settle a little bit. Then we can start the conversation and continue. Somebody knows, police, I'm in this deep shit because of my ex. You know, when I think about that man, no, you know what? Cry all you want. But at the end of the day, we need to face the matter. You understand? Yeah. Then we try and then we focus on the practical and logical matters that will help you. Then my conclusion is say, okay, you were saying what about the ex? Okay, now remember this. We are together now towards restructuring what? Your finances. So whenever you think about her or him, just say to yourself, if you feel better about it, then we continue with life. Is that fine? How many of you may like to be part of credit sessions that we normally host once a month via Zoom? So you may actually WhatsApp us on that number, then we will add you on the database. Whenever we have lessons and sessions, we will invite you. You get the point? All right, so enough about that matter. I know that you were here